Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in for another week of my prediction game. As you'll have just seen, I'm facing Nicky from West Ham Fan TV. Just want to say a huge thank you to Nicky for joining in. It was kind of a last minute request, so I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. If anyone else fancies joining in, give me a shout, let me know, try and get that booked in for a future week. Not last week, I didn't do a prediction game last week, but the week before I faced Nicky Lawless and Dan Lawless. I'm pleased to say I won, but I can't really be that proud of my achievements because we all did absolutely terribly. Sadly, Matty is actually well, I won't say. You can look at the table in a minute. Yeah, no one did very well. So I was lucky to win that week. So yeah, if you didn't see the results, here they are. See what I mean? Nicky Lawless, bottom of the table with 1 point, and Dan just above him. So yeah, Dan came out on top of the Lawless rivalry there. Yeah, so anyway, as I've said, I'm going to be facing Nicky from West Ham Fan TV, and yeah, let's see if we can challenge James Longman for the top of the league, or yeah, let's just see who comes out on top. First game of the weekend, Man United versus Liverpool. It's a tough game, in fact, and I actually do say this every week, but there's some really difficult games to predict. Lots of teams that are playing each other, teams that are around the same place in the table. I'm fancying an away win purely for the fact that I just think Liverpool's attacking strength is going to be too strong, and Man United are a bit of a strange team. So Liverpool, to be honest, a bit unpredictable, but yeah, I just think they'll both be massively up for this game. So I'm going with an away win. I'm going with 2-1 Liverpool.
Hello everyone that came to Katie's channel. I'm here to play the prediction game with Katie. She's given me the weekend's list of Premier League games to predict and a first goal scorer. So let's get straight into these. So the first game is Man United versus Liverpool. Early kick-off on the Saturday. Massive derby, this one. I always enjoy these games. They get very feisty. They get very tense. You know, sometimes they're high scoring. I can't remember the last time I did see a high scoring one, but sometimes they can have a few goals in them. But mostly, what I've seen lately is, you know, especially with Mourinho, he doesn't like to, you know, to attack the opposition. He likes to stop the other people from scoring and hope he gets something on the break. Liverpool, of course, are in fantastic form. Do you know what? It's at Old Trafford. I'm going to go for a Liverpool win, you know. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Liverpool.
Everton versus Brighton. Everton, when Allardyce first went there, I mean, played us, destroyed us, and actually got quite a good few results that were pretty decent. However, they've just been so bad recently, and I think lots of fans are seeing why we weren't that keen on Allardyce. Seen his press conference. Yeah, I wonder if there are actually any Everton fans that like him. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the game. Brighton seem to be doing okay. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a draw, 1-1.
Next game, Everton and Brighton, two relegation threatened teams. Everton have been on absolutely piss poor form. They was poor the other night when they took the lead and then they lost the game later on against Burnley. But you know, it always not right in the Everton camp. Brighton have been on a little bit more of a, I wouldn't say they was in great form, but they're on more of a steady form. Do you know what? Everton are at home. I'm going to go 1-0 Everton.
Huddersfield versus Swansea. They're so close to each other in the table, both on 30 points, the same as us. It's a massive game. It's going to be really difficult, but they're funny because Swansea have been playing really well. Obviously, beat us 4-1, but they also lost the week before to Brighton 4-1. So, you know, I honestly think anything could happen in this game. Having said that, I am going with another draw, and I think it's going to be goals in this one, though. It's going to be 2-2.
Huddersfield versus Swansea, of course, two massive relegation threatened teams. Real 6-pointer this one. A game that us as West Ham fans should be keeping a great eye on. Huddersfield at home haven't been great. Swansea, of course, coming off the back of a massive 4-1 win against some rubbish team from East London. I'll say this is a draw. I'm going to say 1-1.
Newcastle versus Southampton. This is actually 16th versus 17th. And again, you know, all these teams that are playing each other, the results are so important to us. So it's difficult to know who I actually want to win in these games. I don't know why. I think Newcastle are going to win. Obviously, a few weeks ago they got that brilliant result against Man United. Southampton just seem to be struggling to me. I actually possibly think they could be in real danger of going down, but then so are we. I think it'll be Newcastle though, and I'm going with a 2-1 Newcastle win.
Newcastle versus Southampton. Now, the relegation places are so thick and far between. There's so many people involved in it that most of the games every week now are relegation 6-pointers. But Newcastle, Southampton, both teams are down there. Both teams are desperate for the points. Southampton can't score goals. Newcastle, you know, they're shaky at the back. I'm going to go for another draw. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw in this one.
West Brom versus Leicester. Poor West Brom. They don't stand a chance of getting out. I mean, it'll be a miracle. Maybe I'll look at the odds in that after I've recorded this and actually put about maybe just £1 bet on their chances of survival. Yeah, can't see this game being any different, so I'm going with an away win. I think it'll be 2-0 to Leicester.
West Brom versus Leicester, bit of a Midlands derby here. Leicester, a bit better than West Brom. West Brom, rock bottom of the league. Lost the game the other day. Lot of pundits saying that this relegates them. I don't know whether that inspires them to go on and try and pick up a few surprise wins, but they've got a long way back now, West Brom. They're at home, but I think Leicester nicks this one 2-0.
Now it's us. West Ham versus Burnley, obviously. It's massive, this game. Absolutely massive. We need to get something from it. Otherwise, I'm really, really concerned. Having said that, it's not a game that we should expect to get something from. Burnley are playing really well. We've only got to look at their league position. You know, they are safely in the top half of the table. And they're a decent side. I'm just hoping that we're all up for it, the players are all up for it, and that we just play how we know we are, how we know we can play. What do I reckon? Every time I predict us to win, we lose. I'm going with a draw, 2-2. But I hope I'm wrong. I'm hoping it's a win.
West Ham, Burnley. Now, this is the game that we all want to talk about, isn't it? West Ham, Burnley. Burnley, of course, beating Everton last week, and they're in fine form, 8th place in the Premier League. They'll be looking up at Arsenal. They'll be looking up at Arsenal because they've not been in great form. They're only 5 points behind. West Ham, of course, are desperate for points. I reckon we beat them 2-1, and I think that, you know, after such a shit show last week and being at home, I think everyone in the stadium is going to be behind them. I think it's going to be one of them special atmospheres, and I think that inspires the team to a hard-fought 2-1 victory.
Chelsea Palace. Chelsea were absolutely abysmal the other day when I watched them. Just don't seem to care at all. But Palace will be pretty gutted by the result against Man United on Monday. They were really unlucky, really, really unlucky. Will it knock their confidence, or will it make them think, actually, no, we are capable of beating these bigger sides and Chelsea aren't that great? I don't know. I think it's going to be really tight, actually, but I think Chelsea might just have a bit too much for Palace, so I'm going with 2-0 Chelsea. Chelsea
versus Crystal Palace. Another game. Chelsea, obviously, near the top of the league. They're 5th in the table or 6th in the table, somewhere like that. Crystal Palace, desperate after last week's Man United. 2-0 up against Man United, seemingly cruising until Man United turned on the class and Matic with a last... That would have knocked the stuffing out of Crystal Palace. Do I think they've got enough? Do you know what? They're a Chelsea bogey team, you know. And Chelsea are not in great form. I thought the performance the other day against Manchester City was disgusting. It's one of the worst performances I've ever seen from any team in the Premier League, walking around. This is, you know what, this is not as cut and dry as you think, but I think Chelsea break their hoodoo and they beat Palace by 2-0.
Arsenal versus Watford. Arsenal obviously had a brilliant result yesterday, played really well, different side, but that is what Arsenal are like. You know, one week absolutely brilliant and you think it's the Arsenal of old, and the next week don't seem to care, and is Wenger out? Although I'm sure most Arsenal fans think it is Wenger out now. Watford have had some funny results, and I just think that Arsenal might be up for this game after such a great result. But I actually think it's going to be really tough. I think it's going to be a game, I don't think it's going to be a particularly exciting game, but I'm still going with Arsenal to win. I think it's going to be 1-0.
Sorry for the change of location, everyone. Katie, she forgot to tell me to put all the score predictions in my video, so Katie's fault, so blame her. Not really. I think tomorrow, Arsenal versus Watford. I think Watford have had a good couple of results against Arsenal in the past. The tough one though, because they've been in a real bad league form, Arsenal, but good win in the Europa League midweek. So do you know what? I'm going to go for an Arsenal win. I think Arsenal are going to win 4-0. I think they're going to break their hoodoo this week. They're going to break their bad form. They're going to win 4-0.
Bournemouth versus Tottenham. Tottenham haven't actually lost since December, and sadly, or maybe not because it's Bournemouth, they're near us. I was going to say sadly, I don't think this week's going to be any different, but I do think it's going to be more difficult than they're expecting. Bournemouth have had some lucky results, you know, last minute equalisers, and Tottenham always seem to manage to scrape by somehow. I think it's going to be a tighter game than most would predict. I'm going with a draw. I'm going with a 1-1.
And as for the Tottenham game, again, Tottenham in a good run of form. Went out of the Champions League, of course, but their league form is inspired, really, shamefully. So I'm going to predict them to win 3-1.
Stoke versus Man City. Not much to say. Man City win 3-0. Sorry, Stoke. And for my first goal scorer, I'm going with a predictable Aguero.
Stoke versus Man City is the Monday game, of course, and I've got to pick a first goal scorer in this one. Stoke City, of course, they get a lot of draws. I don't remember last time they won, to be quite honest with you. Man City, of course, walking away with the league. A defeat the other night, they were in the Champions League, but I think that was down to a few changes and the fact that they was 4-0 up, 5-0 up in the first leg, which would have done them a favour. If I was to pick a first goal scorer in this one, oh, this is a tough one. I'm just thinking about... The thing is, I think it's going to be a Man City player, but of course, they rotate their team so much. You know what? I'm going to go for a Sane. Is he even... No, not Sane. Do you know what? Fuck it. I'll go obvious. Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne scores the first goal. Stoke versus Man City at the Britannia. Man City win this 4-1 for me. Too good in attack. Stoke don't show me enough. They're going to score. I think they'll score a late consolation, but 4-1 to Stoke, to Man City against Stoke, and Kevin De Bruyne to score the first goal. Thanks very much for having me on, Katie. Much appreciated. Come on, you irons.
I love this game.